3 months away on an oil rig. I come home early, dreaming of finally sleeping in my own bed. And there's a silver Lexus in my driveway. A woman in my late wife's silk bathrobe storms out of my mansion, screaming that I'm trespassing on her property. And then, unbelievably, she calls the cops on me while living in my house. Jahai. Act 1. The Spark of Conflict. My name's Dex Callahan, 52. I've worked oil rigs in the Gulf for 15 years. The money's damn good, but the price is high. Months away from home, long shifts in rough seas, and too many missed moments. 2 years ago, I lost my wife Sarah to cancer. The life insurance and her teacher's pension gave me something I never thought possible of. 200-square-foot Tudor-style mansion on Lake Serenity in Willowbrook Estates. Our dream home, except Sarah never got to live in it. Willowbrook Estates is, well, it's the kind of place where retirees with too much time and too much money nitpick mailbox paint colors. 800 houses, all under the iron grip of one woman, Karen Whitmore. HOA president, real estate agent, tyrant in yoga pants. She hated me from day one, hated that I bought the Henderson mansion at a steal, hated that I was younger than most here, hated that I didn't grovel before her clipboard like everyone else. The harassment started small. A $500 fine for replacing rotted boards on my dock apparently. That required architectural approval, a $300 fine because my mailbox was 2 inches too tall, then a $750 fine for parking my Toyota Tacoma in my own driveway. She called it a commercial vehicle because of magnetic company signs on the door. Every fine timed perfectly for when I was offshore, with hearings I couldn't attend. Coincidence? About as much as hurricanes in Louisiana in August. Still, none of that prepared me for what I walked into. When my rig rotation ended early, I drove home, thinking about barbecue and cold beer. Instead, I pulled up to my $1 million mansion and saw brand new white gravel crunching under my tires. That was strange. I'd left black asphalt. And then she appeared, Karen, wearing my wife's robe, marching toward me with official documents. "You can't be here," she shrieked. "This property has been abandoned. As HOA president, I've assumed control. You are trespassing." I laughed. "Lady, I paid my mortgage 2 days ago. You're squatting in my house." She shoved papers at me, freshly printed notices of abandonment with fake seals. It smelled like Kinko's toner, not county records. But then she played her trump card. She called 911, voice trembling, telling dispatch that an aggressive man had broken into her home. I stood there, dumbfounded, as the woman living in my house used my phone line, my address, to call the cops on me. Jafal. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. Deputy Kowalski showed up 20 minutes later. Young guy, fresh face. And like most rookies, he believed whoever dialed first. Karen walked out with crocodile tears, clutching a fake caretaker agreement with my signature. She even tried my front door key in the lock, of course. It didn't work. She'd changed the locks. "Sir," Kowalski said, that patronizing cop voice dripping with forced calm, "maybe it's best if you find a hotel tonight until this is sorted." Sorted. My house, my mortgage, my name on the deed. And I'm being told to get a motel room. That night, sitting in a cheap motel smelling of bleach and despair, I wondered if I'd lost. Karen had the board in her pocket, fake documents, even a restraining order keeping me 100 yards away. Online, she was smearing me, posting in neighborhood groups that I was harassing elderly women, making inappropriate advances. Overnight, I was a pariah in my own neighborhood. For the first time, I thought about giving up, selling cheap, walking away, starting over somewhere Karen couldn't reach me. Maybe she wins. I thought, maybe I'm the fool who fought the wrong fight. Nay. But then, the tide turned. Fletcher Grimm, 71. Retired postal worker, sharp eyes from decades on mail routes, had been watching my place. He had security footage, Karen dragging suitcases into my house, throwing parties, parading contractors through my property like she already owned it. And then there was Gladys Morton, 82, retired librarian. With more receipts than the IRS, she handed me a binder thicker than a Bible, 3 years of notes, every improper fine, every suspicious invoice, every fraudulent vote Karen pushed through. She'd tracked over $127,000 in missing HOA funds. Finally, I found my ace, attorney Samantha Ridge, property law specialist, shark in a grey suit, sharp glasses, voice like a scalpel. She flipped through my HOA documents, smirked, and said, "This amendment Karen's using for emergency powers. Fraudulent, completely unenforceable, but proving it will cost." For once, I didn't care about cost. That night, Fletcher brewed coffee strong enough to melt a spoon, and we spread documents across his kitchen like it was a war room. Photos of Karen moving in, fake votes, signatures that didn't match, invoices for storm cleanups in years when no storms happened. Piece by piece, her empire looked less like law and more like a scam. Then came the real kicker. The original HOA bylaws from 1987, dusty typewriter pages Gladys found in storage. They proved Karen's emergency powers clause was a lie. She'd forged votes, invented attendees, and falsified records with the help of her secretary. Her entire authority, 4 years of terror, was built on fraud. And that's when my doubt evaporated. Karen hadn't stolen my home. She'd overplayed her hand and exposed a criminal empire. And I was about to bring it crashing down. Ciao. Act 3. The Showdown. Friday afternoon. Karen scheduled an emergency HOA meeting to vote on seizing my house permanently. Normally, these meetings were her echo chamber of a dozen cronies. But thanks to Gladys's phone tree, 200 residents crammed into the community centre. Another 50 stood outside with folding chairs, listening through a PA system. Channel 7 news cameras rolled at the back. Karen strutted to the podium with her gavel, fake smile plastered on, holding a folder thick with forged papers. She banged the gavel. "This emergency session will now come to order." Before she could get another word out, Gladys rose tiny, 82, but with a megaphone that could wake the dead. Point of order. Under original 1987 bylaws, this meeting is invalid insufficient notice. No quorum. The crowd erupted shouts of "Show us the books" and "Where's our money?" Karen tried to wave her papers, squeaking. "We are here to address the abandoned property at 847 Lakefront Drive. That's my house," I barked. Stepping forward, 200 heads turned. Samantha clicked a projector. On the wall appeared the fraudulent 2019 amendment highlighted signatures. "Phantom voters. This shows 347 votes," Samantha said, voice cutting through the chaos. But in 2019, only 289 homes were occupied. Karen Whitmore has operated under fraudulent authority for 4 years. Karen's face cycled through red, white, and purple. She stammered, That's a misunderstanding of filing procedures." "Ma'am," a voice cut her off like a blade. Sheriff Martinez entered, FBI agent at his side. "We have warrants for your arrest. Fraud, embezzlement, breaking and entering. Attempted bribery of a law enforcement officer, silence. Then the shuffle of agents moving forward. Cameras zoomed in. Karen broke. "This is a conspiracy," she screamed, pointing at me. "That oil worker seduced the elderly. You're all jealous of my leadership." Gladys stood, raising her binder. "Karen Whitmore, I've documented your crimes for 3 years. You stole $127,000 from this community, filed fake insurance claims, and tried to sell this man's house while he was working to support himself after his wife died." The room roared anger. Applause. Chants of audit. Audit. Karen panicked, trying to push through the crowd, but there was nowhere to go. 200 angry homeowners didn't part for tyrants anymore. Sheriff Martinez didn't even rush. He walked over calmly, slapped cuffs on her wrists. "Karen Whitmore," he said, "you are under arrest." The metallic click of handcuffs echoed like the final note of a symphony. She shrieked, "This isn't over. I know people." And then, from the back, Fletcher's voice boomed with the line that made the evening news. "The only people you'll know now are your cellmates." Karen. The crowd exploded cheers, applause, neighbours hugging. Channel 7 captured it all. And me, I finally walked back toward my house, keys in hand, the nightmare over. Chiffy. Final beat. Karen went from queen of the HOA to convicted felon in under a week. Fraud, embezzlement, real estate scams, insurance fraud. The judge called it a systematic betrayal of community trust. But I'll always remember the moment not when I won back my house, but when she realised her clipboard and her lies couldn't save her. Chadisa.